But while Eli's world brightened, he couldn't help but wonder about the Googeyman. Where did it go when it wasn't scaring people who deserved it? Did it have a home, a family of its own? These questions bubbled up one evening as Eli sat at his desk, drawing pictures of the goofy creature in his notebook. He paused mid-sketch and whispered into the quiet room, "Are you still out there?" The shadows near his closet twitched, and then, just like before, the Googeyman emerged. This time, however, it didn't simply stand there grinning, it held something in its floppy hands. It was a small box wrapped in shiny paper covered in stars. "For me?" Eli asked, eyes wide with surprise. The Googeyman nodded enthusiastically, handing over the gift. "Open it," it said, its voice cheerful yet oddly mysterious. Eli carefully peeled back the wrapping paper to reveal a wooden music box carved with intricate designs of swirling shapes and tiny creatures. When he opened it, a soft melody began to play a tune, both comforting and otherworldly. As the notes drifted through the air, the Googeyman leaned closer, its big eyes gleaming with mischief. "This isn't just any music box," it explained. "It's a beacon. Whenever you need me, all you have to do is wind it up and let the music call me. But remember," its tone shifted slightly, becoming more serious, "use it wisely. Fear can't always be banished forever." Eli nodded solemnly, clutching the music box tightly. "I'll take care of it," he promised. Over the next few months, life continued peacefully for Eli and his family. The Boogeyman stories were never mentioned again, replaced instead by bedtime tales of brave heroes and magical adventures. Yet every so often, when the wind howled outside or a strange creak echoed through the house, Eli would glance at the music box, resting on his nightstand, feeling reassured that help was only a song away. One stormy night, however, everything changed. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the trees outside like skeletal figures. Thunder roared, shaking the windows. Eli lay awake, clutching his stuffed rabbit, when he heard it, a low, menacing growl coming from the corner of his room. His heart raced. The Boogeyman had returned, or rather, something worse. A shadow, darker than any he'd ever seen, slithered along the wall, taking form. It wasn't the silly, harmless Boogeyman his parents had described. It was real, ancient, and hungry. Its glowing red eyes locked onto Eli, freezing him in place. Terrified, Eli reached for the music box and wound it frantically. The melody rang out, trembling against the storm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a loud pop, the Googeyman appeared, standing tall between Eli and the monstrous shadow. "Ah, old friend," the Googeyman exclaimed, spreading its arms dramatically. "Back for another round?" The shadow hissed, recoiling slightly. Clearly, it recognized the Googeyman and feared it. With a mischievous grin, the Googeyman launched into action. It threw handfuls of glitter, tickled the shadow with its wobbly fingers, and even performed an absurd dance that made the shadow shrink back further. Each move was accompanied by ridiculous sound effects, the kind that might come from a cartoon. Finally, the shadow let out a defeated groan and dissolved into nothingness, leaving behind only a faint trace of smoke. The Googeyman turned to Eli, panting slightly but still smiling. "See? Nothing to worry about." Eli stared at the creature, gratitude swelling in his chest. "Thank you," he whispered. "No problem," the Googeyman replied, tipping an imaginary hat. "Just remember, fear will always try to sneak back in. But as long as you've got courage and maybe a little silliness, you'll be just fine." And with that, it vanished into the shadows once more, leaving Eli alone with the soothing melody of the music box. From that day forward, Eli kept the music box close, not because he expected danger, but because it reminded him of the night he learned that even the darkest fears could be faced with light and laughter. And somewhere, beyond the edge of sight, the Googeyman waited, ready to step in whenever the world needed a little less fear and a lot more fun.